Agriculture is our wisest pursuit because it will, in the end, contribute most to real wealth, good morals, and happiness. Thomas Jefferson. A former cabin crew member turned farmer with a hidden talent. Today we're continuing with Solo's journey. Since commencing his papaya farm, Solo has been working hand in hand with NWC's extension team, one of which is Kaitu Aracito. Kaitu is known in the community as the breadfruit and papaya doctor due to his vast knowledge in the field. Farming, of course, does not come short of its challenges. Kaitu tells us more.
500 trees. The farmer has invested in that 500 trees, 50 cents per seedling, fertilizer, tractor, land prep, all that. But the target is export, to have 100% hermaphrodite fruit, to have 100% export fruit. But if you plant one at a spot, you have that equation. 50% will go directly to local market. 20% deformed fruit, small fruit, reject fruit. You only have 30%. Out of that 500 trees, 30% will be available for export. How do you tackle that? Now, all our seed block that you just see, we will be planting 3 at a spot. So in one spot, you'll have 3 seedlings, papaya seedling, 1, 2, 3. 3, 3, 3, everybody 3. In one line, you have 20 trees, so 20 trees times 3 is 60. So in one line, 60, because we're planting 3 at a spot. After 3 months, it will flower. After 3 months, it will flower. So when you go out into the field, you will notice the difference of the flower. The flower for the local market and the flower for the export. So when you see that, you bring your cane knife and you chop off the local market. Chop, 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 chop. And you'll be left with only the hermaphrodite. So you'll have 100% export.
Organic agriculture is being promoted as a means to increase the incomes of Pacific Island farmers. It is usually assumed that farmers' income from growing organic products will be higher because the prices they receive from these products will be higher. Yet little to no research has been undertaken on the economics of organic agriculture in the Pacific Islands. EU-funded market studies have identified organic papaya as a product with considerable potential for Fijian farmers, with high export prices on offer compared to conventional papaya. NWC members have many benefits, but there is a selection criteria.
Well, we didn't choose our farmers anyhow. First of all, we have criteria for this farmer to meet. First, they have to be a member of NWC cooperative. That's the most important thing. Until they are a member, then they are getting access to whatever extension, research, whatever we have, assistance, and all that. We can provide it to them. Not only are we giving them, choosing these farmers, they have to be active. So we have farmers. We can be all farmers here. But the only difference that can differentiate us is the active and non-active. So with these 300 members that we have in Nature's Way, we only have about 30 active.
Wow.
30 active. So that's one of the biggest challenge that we are facing. Because the only active farmers that we have is from Bilalebu, East Bank and West Bank. East Bank we have Bilalebu, we have Barara, we have Nambaka, And on the west bank, we have Kamalangasau, we have Nambitu, who is in front, Lokia South, all those areas.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we only have a few active members. So they have to be active also.
Right.
So once they are member, active, and they have to have a title for their own title, own lease, agriculture lease.
Land. Yeah.
If they have been farming papaya, that's a big boost for us because they have a better idea of what's going to happen, or what's going to happen in now or in the future. So it's not only for our seed block. So this is also this assistance from FO4 PFON.
Yeah.
So this assistance also help us Nature's Way to look at our members. So we just had the hurricane, cyclone Harold.
Yeah.
So as a cooperative, we remember we look after our farmers very well, and we are very thankful for this assistance. And this assistance will help us look for our members, supply them with these seedlings and land prep, and also follow up on this program until it's been harvested, because not only are we going to buy the seeds from them as our seed block papaya, we can also contact them with the exporter. This one exporter, Manasa export now, or Mahen export, or Dean, or DK. We have a lot of exporter, active export, that we can connect with the farmer, and they too can supply. Once we get our seed block, the rest they can sell it to the local market or to the export.
Okay.
And through export, Nature's Way is also benefiting from all this heat treatment and all the...
And it's farmers like Solo that have taken on the challenge. Let's hear his story. Solo Komai Totoya was part of the first arrival of the Fiji Airways new Airbus flagship aircraft with its very own branding of Fiji Airways and the new signature Fiji belly branding with the teteva on its tail. The bird took off from Toulouse, France and flew around Mount Everest, Hong Kong, then finally to our sandy shores, destination Fiji. For over an hour, the aircraft flew over Fiji from the Yasawas, Nunrunga, Singatoka to Suva. The bird circled 4 times over the capital, and Solo watched his old school Suva grammar and Bayuto with all the school children waving up at the aircraft. Solo reminisces that he would never forget the image of women hanging out there washing, fishing in the shallow waters and waving up at the aircraft. School children in Wairiki Taviuni running to step onto the aircraft's shadow, waving, and mirrors flashing in Lambasa with locals smiling and waving with extreme excitement. Solo was the purser on this maiden flight. A purser is the chief flight attendant on an aircraft. Solo also had the honor of opening the door of the aircraft right after it landed. An extensive career in airline with groundbreaking moments saw Solo's career span out over 3 grateful decades. And then came the outbreak that changed the world, COVID-19. A virus that shook the world and our nation to the core, rattling the pillars of our bustling tourism economy as we knew it. Our tourist capital Nandi took a devastating hit, with international visitors fading rapidly to make it back to their homeland before all borders shut down. Our resorts and beaches now silent, our aircrafts grounded. Thousands of our locals saw their livelihoods slip out of their hands. Hundreds of businesses had to make heartbreaking calls to downsize, make redundant, take away a percentage of their employees' pay, and worst of all, terminate their staff. Unfortunately, Solo fell into that last category. He was amongst the close to 800 employees that were terminated following the devastating hit to our international airways market. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Solo shares the rest of his story, and we visit his farm a month later to see how his papaya is coming along. We're also giving you a preview of what's to come in our Garden Island series.
I was flying for almost 30 years. 30 years flying, joined in 1990. And it was then Air Pacific.
Yeah.
And so I have grown being a flight attendant for 30 years. It's a blessing in a way that I could travel the world, expose myself to a lot of things and see people, places, cultures, and dealing with people on board and interacting. It's been a great experience though, it's a blessing. And to know where and how much we should appreciate Fiji, home. Nothing's like home. We see the world, some of us see the world in the eyes of the camera.
Yeah.
But to really go out and see the world with your own eyes and witness what's happening, and then to come back home and see what you have, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
And why the people travel from all over the world to come to Fiji? Because we have something that they don't have. And we are in the right place in the right time when we were traveling then. So it's been a blessing for us. My family travel with me now and again to visit other places and countries. We visit farms and how people were maximizing the backyards.
Yeah.
You mentioned you visit a few farms and they utilize small spaces, but they maximize everything. So traveling for 30 years has been a blessing for me. Never regretted. I appreciate it for what it has offered for me and my family. But I guess this is where one door closes, life continues, and you need to move on and just to enjoy what's next for you. Because you don't know until you open that door and you step out, and then you experience life and you get to know and learn your potential and what life has to offer you.
Solo and his family saw this as an opportunity to fully immerse themselves into their very own family gardens. A creative play on words, the letter R joins the two worlds of farm and family together. Since making his career shift and returning back to his vanua, Solo's business ideas have kicked into overdrive, and he understands that his success is fully dependent on his own hard work.
So this is it. This is farming for me, and I'm sure with all my colleagues, they've opened their doors too and finding out what's the best for them. Some of them are doing their own small businesses and even doing farming. So everybody's getting to do something for themselves and enjoying it too.
Yeah.
You can't hang on to what's closed. You need to move on and enjoy and experience life that way. And the beauty about farming, you get to see it from seedling and you get to nurture it, nourishing it, and you watch it grow. And the best part of it is when you get that harvest and you cook it and you put it on the table, and then you bless that food and then you eat it with full fulfillment of that hard work. So you get to watch the whole process from the ground to the table, and the process of life. It has a story too behind it. They're living. You have to look after it. They look after you.
Some people say that it's like when you have children, they
Yeah.
compare it to like raising
Yes.
children, except that you're not going to eat your children
No.
at the end and put them on the table.
Yes, true.
So it must be a nice, fulfilling feeling.
It is. You wake up in the mornings and you take my wife and I wakes up in the morning with what we planted, we go watering.
Yeah.
That moment is a time that you share with your family, and you talk about things for the day.
Yeah.
Or rather, you come back in the afternoon, you do the same thing, and you enjoy. It's de-stressing. It
Yes.
takes you enjoy life. And, you close the whole world out of you, and then you're just focusing on what's around you, and that's your home, your family, and your farm. And I feel that farming, if not only farming, anything that you do, if you have a passion in it, you won't feel the tiredness of it. I think because your life is more dedicated to it, and as you fail, you appreciate the failure because you're willing to learn from what went wrong.
Yeah.
And you look at the plants you're planting, you see there's something wrong, then you go dig up on Google, and then you go out to the agriculture, and then you go out to nature's way, and then you ask around, and then the experience of all that allows you to learn.
Yeah.
So, I like farming. It allows you to learn more about life.
I'm so glad to have had this chat with you. This is very encouraging for me as well, and it's good to know that people are finding positivity even in a bad situation. And I would love to come back one day and visit your farm, especially when your plantation is the
Yes.
pawpaws are growing or starting to grow.
Yes, you see Ramesh doing the tractor.
Yeah,
And,
spoke to Ramesh.
yeah.
Ramesh was telling me a lot about the soil and all. So much information that goes into
Yeah.
this whole process. Even for us doing Green Pillars, we are also learning every day as we go, and the different people we meet, and it's just so encouraging and educational at the same time. So thank you so much, Solo, for having us here at your farm and giving me this beautiful molly juice.
Molly right from there, the tree up there.
Too good. There's something different about the things that you pick from your own farm.
Oh,
Right?
it's all with love, you know.
Yeah.
Anything that you plant with love, you bear it with love, and it's fulfilling.
A month after we first met Solo, the Green Pillars team and I headed back to his farm to see how his papayas were coming along. Solo! Hi! How are you?
Good. 1 month later. Welcome to Family Gardens.
Thank
How you
you.
been?
Good to see you. Mwah.
Hey.
Wow, man, look at your farm.
Yes, all excited after a month. The last time you've been here, eh?
Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, these have grown so much.
Yes.
And like you said, you were going to do 3 in one slot or one
heap.
Yes, one heap. And that's what's been happening. So tell me, how's it going?
Right, the last time we came here, we tracted, we planted that time like you just mentioned. So from then on, all we did for the last month was trying to water it timely.
Yeah.
And evening watering like you see now.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to have hoses running, you know, drip irrigation, that would be even better. Eh? At least it cuts the hours of the job.
Yeah.
But for a month, we've calculated it takes about 2.5 hours to get this watering done.
Really? 2.5 hours just on the watering?
Just the watering.
Yeah.
And then you go through each plant and then you have a look at it, watch it grow. So that's where we are at the moment. Just watering, making sure it lives healthy and do observations weekly.
So Solo, you were saying that you had 600 papaya trees to plant,
Correct,
right?
600 plants.
Okay, have you done the whole 600?
We've done the whole 600. Now we're observing what's happening into that 600 in the last month.
Yes.
Initially they grew, they were trying to settle in because of the sunlight and trying to adapt to the surroundings.
Yeah.
A few weeks they were turning yellow. I guess they were trying to find its way down because you remember we put the manure underneath, all the urea, the NPKs and the chicken manure and pig manure, all stuff it together. So the watering has helped them to really find roots to those manure.
Right.
And I think on the 3rd week it started to grow and then turned yellow a bit and then it starts to turn green. It was 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So now you see the green coming out. It's more green.
Yeah.
Which is good. When KKU had visited us last week and yes, a few days ago.
So he came out to
inspect,
yeah.
and then we could see the changes that's happened. So he was right. It just said that in the beginning you'll find this yellow leaf coming up, and then soon it'll disappear. So it did disappear.
Okay.
So that's good, and that's the beauty about niches when we have research officers visiting you. Now we are now observing the seed quality. That's what he said. You from here you will pick out which are the good healthy seeds that you produce and which one is struggling seed. So that's why you'll find in some spots they are nice and green, the other 2 are struggling, or all 3 are. So something new that we've learned along the way. Yes.
And also, Solo has a very good set of pipes on him. Last night there was an event and Solo, performed. And I honestly, when you started singing, I thought it was the radio, like something from a CD playing, or
Thank you.
So yeah, but thank you, Solo, for having us back at your farm.
And it's always a pleasure.
Can't wait to come back when they're all big, and
yes,
maybe I'll just
Would
pick
love
some
to hear-
popos and run away.
they'll love to have you back this way again, see how it goes and
Yeah.
where we at that time. But it's been a pleasure also having you to being witness of all this and to learn of it also. You and I are on the same track,
Yeah.
learning of all this. Hey, Shania.
Hey, so thank you, Solo.
Now we'll leave Shania.
All right, well,
We'll catch up.
Yes.
Till we meet again.
Until we meet again. Up next, our Garden Island series sneak peek. An endless sea of turquoise and blue, thick, lush foliage, a humble town with humble residents, no traffic, no sirens, no pollution, yet so much productivity. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the beautiful garden island of Tagimoucia. first stop is at Tagimoucia, a non-government organization with a mission and vision to help rejuvenate our soil and help stop the effects of deforestation. Alan Peterson tells us more.
Tagimoucia had the highest rate of deforestation in around 2009 in the whole of Fiji, and we weren't even logging for timber.
We look at some of the products that can help put nutrients back into our soil, like Macuna beans. And we meet Peter and Lillian, a couple who prove that rejuvenating your soil is indeed possible. Then we're off to Tutu Rural Training Center in Wairiki. TRTC is a non-formal adult education center for self-employment in agriculture for young males, single women, and married couples. We're attending their first ever workshop and training session with some familiar faces as guest speakers. And then we're hopping on to the back of a tractor to go on a tour of the 1,109-acre property. And yes, it's as exciting as it looks.
The Boma Waterfalls is but one of many, many amazing things here in Tagimoucia. We are here in the Garden Island of Fiji, and we are bringing you the best of the best for green pillars. So make sure you're watching our Garden Island series.